My ruling is therefore that the motion will not be debated today, as it would be repetitive and disorderly to do so.
I note the dilemmas you face mean that on occasion you will sometimes have to please some and not others, but it is becoming remarkable how often you please one lot and not the other lot. I would also remark, Mr. Speaker, that you have inveighed against most unusual things happening in this House which you did not like.
When he was getting the decisions in his favour, he wasn't grumbling. He's grumbling now because he doesn't like the judgment. But the judgment I've made is an honourable and fair one. If the government have got the numbers, the government can have their way, and it's not for the Speaker to interfere.
Can you understand, sir, in the light of your comments, why some people perceive, perhaps incorrectly, that the only consistency one can find in your rulings is that they always seem to favour one side of the argument and never the government, who are trying their best to carry out the mandate given to them by the British people in 2016?
I think the consistent thread is that I try to do what I think is right by the House of Commons, including by, in many cases, minorities whose voices need to be heard.
When we were debating on Saturday, nobody knew whether the Prime Minister was going to send a letter or not.
The letter was sent on Saturday evening. More widely, however, the question of whether it would be a material consideration for the Chair whether a Minister of the Crown would obey the law, the honest answer to the honourable gentleman is that that consideration had not entered my mind, and I have made the judgment I have made. Colleagues, I'm stating the obvious, but when you make a judgment on these matters, manifestly, some people, if it's controversial, are pleased, and other people are displeased. I have simply sought to discharge my obligations and to do what I believe to be right, and that is what the Speaker has to do.
Isn't it time, Mr. Speaker, that the government, instead of playing games with the business of this House, actually subscribe to the usual practices?
As somebody, a very long-serving member of this House, once said, sadly no longer with us, it's not about policies, it's about policies, it's not about personalities. It's not about personalities, it's about policies. And